Hello, this is Colin Dawson with another edition of Lockdown Movie Reviews. Just to say, I saw the movie Encanto. It's very different, very nice. I will say I ran into a couple of the kids that, locally they had, I guess, some sort of thought creation. They have them as test subjects, and they watched it, and they're like, it seems like it's Sicilian, but then it's tropical, so it's on the Pacific, but it's not where Costa Rica is. So, with that bearing in mind, and they all have candles, but they're not with Jesus. That was my first introduction to Encanto, and they said it was really fun and everything else. So found it on Disney Plus since the nieces and nephews have came by and said, okay, put it on. And I will have to say, it was an enlightening, great little movie. I can see where they came up with like the three or four little kids that I listened to when it first came out, that there's a very broad grabbing of cultures in other areas and things that seem something to that. Even one of the kids said that they thought that it was Sardinia, and that the people on the horses at the first of it were chasing Anthony Bourdain, but they didn't have a lot of cooking. And they all have pet donkeys that they get to ride. And I will say the kids love it. And I can see where the kids will love it. And it is entertaining. Yes, it does have a wonderful moral in the story. Yes, it does bring magic, and that every single person has a gift in a way. And basically, as it is, even the one that supposedly didn't have a gift of magic in it had the gift of leadership for the next generation. And that is what I think the movie's whole encompassing thing is for it, with the family as well as the community that does rely on the magic of the people in that one house. And that the house was made magical not because of the sacrifice of a person, but because of a selfless act fighting off people that were wanting to come and do harm unto them. And the house does take care of them. It does listen to them. And as it is, yes, things moved from a candle that was supposedly always able to be lit and everything else over to a doorknob in it. So things, while they may change, still do stay the same. And I think this is one of the main things about this movie, which I really do not favor Disney movies that much that are animated. They seem to have a lot of propaganda, and they tend to be slighted certain ways out there, such as The Emperor's New Groove and some of the others, basically back from the days of original time with Disney, when he was openly campaigning and would take airspace on television, an hour long, no commercials, with just his opinion over why we shouldn't be in World War II and should learn to stay out of it and give our support to Hitler and the new dictation of the church. This is one of the situations where I go, yes, you even have to watch kid cartoons for this, especially since they're so easily able to feed something to you. In this, I do not really see any form of bad situation that, as a parent, it being basically probably G rated and everything else, really would be that offenseful. Other than maybe you might say, well, from birth and creation, you always have your magical gifts, and they just get better, and nothing can ever really take them away. Yes, I can see the psychologicalness of it, if you were worried about that with everything, but it seems to be one of the most benign one of the Disney cartoons. And in and of itself, it does have a lot of great, wonderful colors, a lot of great acting. The animation does look very normal. I think it does promote female adventure very well and does have a wonderful set of female heroines and even generational moving on and passing the mantle of, I guess, leadership to the next generation. I think that it is wonderful in a way of finding lost family members in it, and they've just been hiding right inside your house too. That was a wonderful little joke in it. It is, without a doubt, a really good story and a fun watch. Do I think it's something that, yeah, I'm going to go out there and, have to see this. This is my blockbuster. I have to see this. I don't really feel that way. In a way, it's not got the momentumness of some of these Disney cartoons that you could say, and I do draw a difference between Pixar and Disney because this is hand animated and is worked on by real artisans of the older way, not the computer age, which they are real artisans too, or artisans, however you pronounce it. And it is absolutely a wonderful thing. And if you say artisans, also trying to recognize everybody. But it is just a good, fun movie. And while I would not say this is the Dalmatians or this is something like Sleeping Beauty or any one of those out there that you could remember, I would say if you've got the time and it's a lazy day and you're locked in, it's a really good, wholesome movie that you can watch and don't really have that much. And while it does take a lot of things for it and everything else, and there's maybe one or two things you might have to explain and just say, this is just how our family does things, if you go with anything magical, it is just a nice, wonderful situation. And even shows in disasters that a whole town can come, even if they have less than you, and help rebuild your house and everything, when basically your own disarray has torn it apart. In and of it, it doesn't really have any type of like main romance or anything that a lot of people complained about with Disney being too romantic with like Aladdin or anything. There is something there, but it's very on the outside edge of it. And even when it does come in, it's not anything else other than an introductional date. Moving along with this, I just have to say, watch it if you would like to. While I wouldn't really give it a huge, overwhelming situation with it, I would say it's probably just no more than a good solid B plus movie. I guess that would be like 8.5. Not a lot to write home about, not a lot to do anything, but is an enjoyable, fun watch. Without any politics and without anything else, and just a good movie. It's Colin Dawson, Lockdown Movie Reviews.